And then, of course, pray about everything. As Christians, I mean, we're required to do that. Pray for God to guide you and direct you, and you will be successful. Okay? Because all things work together for good. And that is it. Any questions? Any questions? No questions?
Just not easy questions.
Just wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, good stuff.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Yes.
Because I was looking at, I think maybe everyone can use this, when it says don't mistake activity for accomplishment, use your time wisely. My business coach had me to do an exercise that she got from Darren Hardy, a former publisher of Success Magazine. Find out what activity that you do that generates the income that you need. Phone calls, going to seminar. And then time it. When you make the phone call, turn the stopwatch on. When the phone call's in, turn the stopwatch off.
Yeah.
And I used to think I was doing a lot of work because I would sit there like 4 hours. But then when you do the stopwatch,
Yeah.
you know, looking for the phone number is not making me money. It's the actual phone call.
Right.
And I found out I was doing less than I thought I was doing.
That's great.
Because I had blocked the time. And so in my mind, well, I worked 4 hours today. But
Right.
when you do the stopwatch, no, you did.
Yes, measure everything.
Yeah.
Measure as much as you can to see how effective you are.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, you don't have to measure everything for a whole month, but take a week out
Yeah,
and start measuring.
we did it for like a
That's an
month.
excellent analysis.
Yeah, just start measuring everything to see how effective you are.
So out of those 4 hours, Sherman, what was the actual gap
It
between
came,
what
it came
you...
back about to an hour. It made
So,
a phone call.
right, so
I
you
was-
had
it was
padded
like
what
30
you are.
seconds. No, because that's voicemail, 30 seconds.
So you thought you were doing 4 hours worth of work, but
Yes.
it's actually only in 1 hour.
1 hour.
That's a good analysis.
Yeah.
That's very, very good.
Right, and you know, the same thing, when I manage people at radio stations, I used to say, we walk around all the time talking to each other, but we're not talking to clients. And we think we're working, we get here at 8:30 and, we spend, we meet 2 clients, or talk to 2 clients, we spend 60 minutes, it's not, you need to meet more clients. Now, sometimes that's not easy to do, but you can get the process in place where you get that going, as I said, it all depends on how they want to meet. Because we live in a market now, in a world now, where people like choice and control. I mean, people like to control their buying process and where they're spending money. They want choices and they want control. So that's one thing research has showed that people want now. So when they go to make a choice, you want to be there. When they want to, whatever they want to control, you want to offer it to them. You want to control this, when we meet, how much time you spend with us, or what information you get. I can do that. That's why social media is so good, because they can go to their friends and refer them so good and extract the exact type of information they want. So,
Mike, can you talk a little bit more about getting the meetings? You mentioned that it was difficult and it was a challenge. Can you speak to our Trust Accomplished group about what are some of the surefire techniques that have worked for you when you're trying to get past the gatekeepers or get past the phone keepers or those whose job it is to keep people from getting into the decision makers?
Right.
So how do we give us some kingpin techniques to getting into decision makers or to influence the gatekeepers who hold that key?
well, one thing I think the first step is to realize that gatekeepers are part of the process. You're going to have to deal with them, okay? And that you're going to have to be effective in dealing with them until, because you just have to. I mean, you have to be effective dealing, because that's how you're going to get the sale. So one of the things you want to do with a gatekeeper is listen to them and see what their instructions are. They will give you instructions on how to get to a client. They will say, well, he only takes meetings, or she only takes meetings, or they only do things. And then so you have to kind of build a relationship with the gatekeeper. And even, say they only take meetings or proposals this way. And you say, I understand that, that's great. Then, I'm going to go ahead and, who should I contact? So you have to use them as a guide. But then if that's not working, then you continue to, I just use the name, hey Jim, I spoke to you, gave me some great information. I hate to bother you again, Jim, but I know you're busy. But I want to get this to them. I know your process is this. Just ask politely, can you go around and be persistent but polite. But treat them as like you're not going to make the sale unless you deal with them. And there are people in sales, we deal with a lot of people. Some people can say yes, and some people can say yes and no, and some people can say no, but they can't say yes. A gatekeeper can only say no. So you want to, you want to get them to the point where, they're not saying no to you. Okay?
When
They're
you
gonna allow
finally
you
get
do
to
something.
the decision maker, is it offensive to say, do you have the authority to make a decision, or what is a savvy way to discern whether or not they were a fake decision maker or real?
So what you have to realize.
Because egos are involved.
All right, so in every process, there's like, when they're kind of selling, Al's referring to, there's like 4 influences at work, okay? So there's like the economic buyer, the person who makes the decision that you may never meet, but has power to say yes or no and vice versa power. So like if everybody says yes, they say no. And if they say, everybody says no and they say yes, the whole thing changes. And then there's like the user buyer, the person who uses your product, and there's like a technical buyer. Okay, and all these people have a role to play. They can influence decisions. So what you have to develop, you have to develop a 4th person in this process, which is called a coach or a guide. It could be one of the 3 people I just mentioned. So you're asking exploratory questions, which is fine. You get to somebody and you say, listen, I want to do things the way you guys want to do it. You tell me what's the best way to approach a company, or I would say, let me see, give me an example. I mean, I would call. It's a little bit more, like I would call, like say Boeing or Lockheed Martin, okay? Call the head of Lockheed Martin in this area, okay? Now they have ad agencies and they have marketing people, okay? But I have something I want to sell them. So in those instances, I want to get his approval because I know I'm talking to the economic buyer who can say yes or no. So I don't want to go into another venture or something, but what I would present is a half-baked idea. Something that lets him know that I'm legitimate, that I understand his company's priorities and who his people are, and then take my cues from where he leads me. So I call Lockheed Martin. I say, hey, listen, we're gonna be working with the Pentagon. I'm with WTOP Radio. We're gonna be working with the Pentagon, doing a program on defense spending, or doing shows on defense spending. Can you tell me? I would like for you guys to sponsor that. Can you tell me what's the best way to go about getting a sponsor for that? Now I'm talking to the head of the company, right? So he can either say, well, you got to talk to something, and then I might go on and say, well, since I talked to you, I'd like to come by and also meet you as well. So that way I got the information, and I went in with a half-baked idea, so something that established me as an authority, that I'm just not calling, and I use the larger platform of the company name. And if they don't know the company name, then you have to just maybe say who you worked with before. I've worked with some, or you have to talk about your capabilities and what some of your resources are. But yes, sometimes you don't want to go right into the sales mode when you're still qualifying. And you're still trying to, especially in situations where there's more than one decision maker, you're still trying to identify who's who. You got to develop a coach or a guide in that situation. Somebody say, hey, you got to talk to this person or talk to this person. And then I would say, well, can I tell them that you told me to call you? And then I call the ad agency up and I say, hey, I talked to Lockheed Martin. I think they want to do this. And because the ad agency would hate that because they have their own plans and everything. Or the marketing person at Lockheed would be like, well, that's my job. And I'm like, I just happened to talk to him on the phone. He told me to call you. Let me run it by you. And then so, I hope I did I answer your question, Al?
Yeah, you did. The follow-up is, once we get in, because we're just taking it in progression.
Right.
So once Robin gets in and she's got past the gatekeeper, she's developed a coach, she's got good rapport, she's done some qualification. 2 questions. What should Robin look for coming out of the meeting? And then should she set the next meeting at that meeting? Or is that too much? Or, in other words, how will Robin measure whether that was a good meeting? Should she come out there with a minimum of this, according to my hand? And then, does she set the next meeting? Or does she say, well, I'll call you back in a week?
Well, ideally she comes out of the meeting with
What's the best psychology?
assignment. She comes out the meeting with an assignment, okay? She's going to do this and get it back to them, and ideally they have an assignment too. They're going to check the budget about something. So the next step is you want assignments after these meetings, okay? I'm gonna put together a proposal based upon what you said. I mean, at the meeting you did a needs analysis, and I'm gonna also talk to your ad agency. And your assignment is you're gonna call the ad agency and tell the ad agency, and you're gonna do this so everybody has assignments. Okay? I mean, you can start to offer some solutions, some trial solutions, like for instance. I might say, well, I'm going to present a campaign that's 13 weeks or something, but I'm not exactly sure. I want to go back and do a little research, but I'm going to come back with a solid campaign for you, okay? And it's going to be, you can even talk money, $1,000 a week within your budget. and then I'll come back on this day, and you're gonna do this, and you need as many assignments as possible. So, because once people invest, it's hard for them to divest. So you gotta get assignments. That's the key word with these meetings, you know. So if you just go have a meeting and go, well, I'll see you next time, you don't have anything. Right, you gotta get a legitimate assignment. I mean, your assignment may be to come back in 6 months when they put together the budget, but at least you have that assignment.
The length of the meeting should be no longer than, no shorter than.
Well, I was always a short meeting person because I'm kind of like, get to the bottom line. So sometimes for salespeople, I go with salespeople, I do training, they go like, no, we should stay longer because they're talking about family and things like that. So it kind of depends on the person you're meeting with. Some people like to talk about families and things like that, and that's important to them, so just go ahead and do it. I mean, you kind of take your cues from the person who you're meeting with. So I learned to kind of do that the hard way because I was always like, hey, what are your needs? What do you want to do? I mean, you know, I got in on a half-baked idea or something, on a very difficult client, you know, like Lockheed or something like that, or McDonald's. I was still a $1 million campaign at McDonald's, I have to tell you about. It was actually featured on the news. But, and I just ran a half-baked idea by somebody and just grew into this big proposal. But anyway, you have to take your cues from the person, you know, and then adapt. Because everything is about serving and loving people. It's really, as Christians, that's what it's about. Serving people, you know, it's a lot about listening and meeting needs. I mean, if you're a good Democrat or a good Republican, they'll tell you who to vote for. If you belong to an organization, they'll tell you what to do to be a good Democrat or a good Republican. If you're serving somebody, they'll tell you what to do to serve them. You know, they'll tell you exactly what you need to do. But you know, you just have to position yourself as somebody who can meet needs and is willing to listen. So
Let's give it up for Michael. Michael, that was outstanding, and I think you outdid yourself.
I think
That was fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, did y'all enjoy my Cambridge today?
Yes,
Did y'all get some new ideas?
yes.
Great. Just take a minute, just reflect, and this is really so powerful, so dynamic. Mike really shared some great themes, so we can get to the meeting and get something out of the meeting.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your success, and thank you for giving so much. And I love what you said toward the end. Sales is all about just loving on people and building people up. And I think with also what we do in terms of our commodity, we love up on people, that we both fulfill our Christian duty and we become more effective in whatever we do. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give Mike another hand. Thank you.